I am so GD behind. So behind. But that's okay. Life is like a bit of being behind all the time, 'cause you never know when you're actually going to get on track. Remember that? Forrest Gump, very famous line. Quoted it exactly, verbatim. I should have got that role. Patrick N. Keegan, welcome. Lindsay Salazar, I'm the judge, welcome. 3 other people on Instagram. You guys staying sane in this heat? 'Cause I'm not. This has been insane, dude. I do not recall it being this intense for this long previously. And now we got fires in Canada. Climate change everywhere. What's up, Dutton? Welcome. Climate change left, right, front, and center. Has it occurred to everybody that billionaires are literally destroying the world? They're destroying it to the point, and they know it, which is why they have to build bunkers under fucking ground. They built their own little bunkers to hide from the destruction that they've caused. It's fucking insane. Speaking of billionaires and the destruction that they've caused, let's see what the 34-count felon and 2-time pedophile ring runner Donald Trump has to say in disgrace to the soldiers that died because of his war to distract from the Epstein files.
Well, Americans aren't against.
Why is the audio always so bad on, like, half of the Twitter clips I pull up are perfectly fine and the other half are dog shit?
A poll just came out. Americans don't want high gasoline prices, but they're not against the war. That just came out loud and clear in a poll. Nobody wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Do you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon?
Do you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? You've made it more important to the regime than ever to want a nuclear weapon. The JCPOA was specifically keeping a nuclear weapon out of their hand. I mean, this guy's just a fucking disgrace. Americans are firmly against this war. Well, Americans aren't against the war. A poll just came out. Americans don't want high gasoline prices, but they're not against the war. That just came out loud and clear in a poll. I mean, if these MAGA chuds want this war, send them. I'm so fucking sick of these goddamn chicken hawks. They come into my chat. They're on the news. They're doing their own stupid-ass podcasts. They're like, yeah, we need to go to war. We need to go to war with Iran. Okay? So why aren't you there? I have bone spurs. You fucking suck. You started this war just to cover for an orange Nazi pedophile, and now you won't even fight in the very war that you wanted to start, you absolute chicken hawk cucks. Black Gape Horns, quite the name, welcome. So then we did have, of course, several service members die.
Some of you are going with us to honor our heroes, and they are indeed.
This is at the dignified transfer when the bodies returned.
They said, all of them said very strongly, we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. They won't have a nuclear weapon. So we're going to honor them.
This fucking psychopath has to make everything about himself. This is insane behavior. You couldn't have this guy officiate a fucking funeral. Why in the hell would you want him running the country? This is absolutely insane to think that the last thing these soldiers did before they died was, tell Trump, please, that I said we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. We can't. If you think that that's actually what happened, you are medically stupid. It's just the dumbest. To possibly believe that, you would have had to have been born without a brain. There is nothing between your ears other than a fucking peanut if you truly believe this. Furthermore, these soldiers died probably on the battlefield, like in between bombings or a drone. Where was Trump? His chicken hawk ass was hiding with bone spurs during Vietnam. You think this motherfucker was on the fucking phone with them? Give me a goddamn break. Oh, speaking of, we have a trigger mega pedophile. Darkblade Omen, I love to dress up as an ICE agent. Oh, so you like to play dress up, so you're a loser? So you're a loser that has no friends, so you admit openly that you also impersonate a federal agent, which is a crime. Got your ass. I gotta download your profile. Hold on, buddy. You admitted to a federal crime via text. Excellent, excellent bait, gentlemen. Excellent. I love it when I can catch these MAGA pedophiles in crimes. I fucking love this shit. Excellent bait, gentlemen. Hang on, I gotta make sure I screenshot this guy. How many, let's see, 11 years, he joined 11 years ago, 17 subscribers. How do I see his profile? Come on. Go to channel, there we go. Oh yeah, this guy's a fucking loser. He's in VR chat. This dude plays VR chat in like fucking furry. Oh wow, one of his videos uploaded says VRC daycare freaks. Yeah, this guy's an actual pedophile. Like, no joke. I know that I say it all the time, but this dude is an actual MAGA pedophile. He's going into VR chat, and he's going into daycare rooms. Yeah, he's a pedophile. Hamzi, my internet is shitty. I was here since the stream began, but it was silent and black screen. Yeah, I'm having a lot of drop frames, too. I don't know what's going on. I mean, it looks fine. You know what? I think it looks fine on my end, because the playthrough is looking fine on YouTube. It looks fine on my end, so I'm not sure what's going on. There's a little bit of a delay in TikTok, but like that's it. Okay. Let's move on here. So this is just an insane thing. Honestly, I'd be livid if I were the parent/family of the soldiers killed. And here's the thing, is that if the parents were to actually go and talk to the media, they wouldn't cover this the way they would if it had been Biden. If Biden had said anything remotely close to this, they would have freaked the fuck out. But Trump can literally dishonor these dead soldiers and play narcissist in chief, pretending that it was all they died in this heroic sacrifice. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. They came up to me with tears in their eyes. This guy is a disgusting, vile, evil human being. And it's why he invites the most evil, vile, disgusting human beings, like the pedophile Darkblade Omen, who came into my chats admitting that he committed federal crimes because he's such a Nazi that he just wants to commit crimes against people different from him. What is to be talked about today? Well, we're covering a lot of this shit. First of all, we're going to cover this in regards to the war in Iran.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all for your testimony. And General Kane, let me just begin by expressing on behalf of all Georgians our immense gratitude and admiration for the service members who are making tremendous sacrifices and conducting themselves with extraordinary selflessness and professionalism on behalf of the United States and our state's unified condolences and grief for the families of the 4 killed in action. And our hope for a swift recovery for the nearly 100 wounded over the last 2 weeks. And thank you to you for your service to the nation.
That's right. I forgot that there's also on top of the, I believe it's 3 now confirmed dead, there's also been 100 people injured.
Mr. Hegseth, you're requesting roughly $68 billion for the department through this supplemental, correct?
So I want to clarify another thing, is that the military just, I believe earlier this year or late last year, was given $500 billion that they themselves didn't know what to do with, right? On top of that, they failed their 9th audit in a row. And we're still giving them money on top of the $500 billion that they didn't even fucking know what to do with. So now we're thinking about giving them $68 billion more for a war whose entire purpose is to distract from the Epstein files. This is just an absolutely insane thing to have happen, and we should not be voting in favor of this. Anyone?
67, yes.
And yesterday, your department stated publicly, quote, U.S. forces struck Iranian military command centers, maritime capabilities, missile and drone launch sites, and air defense systems to degrade Iran's ability to continue attacking commercial vessels. That was a press release from your department. Is that a broadly accurate characterization of ongoing operations?
That sounds broadly accurate, yes.
Why is he always so fucking sweaty? Jesus Christ. Every time you see these guys, it looks like a portal to hell is literally underneath their chair. Like, these guys have the seat warmer of fucking Satan's trident right under their buttocks. And they always look like this, whether it's this guy or Peter Thiel or Don Jr. Oh, when we think about Don Jr., you know why? Because they're all high on fucking coke. This guy is cracked out of his mind right now.
On day 14 of this
So is Peter
conflict,
Thiel.
Mr. Secretary, day 14, nearly 5 months ago, you stated that Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and, quote, made combat ineffective. That was on day 14 of the war. Was that an accurate statement?
They didn't have a Navy any longer. It was completely sunk. Their missiles were buried underneath a lot of their underground facilities, and their defense industrial base has been almost completely destroyed. So as far as a military assessment of Iran's capabilities, it didn't mean by any stretch of the imagination absolute
Such
zero.
a lie.
But their
Mr.
capabilities
Secretary,
are
Such
the
a
lowest
lie.
level
you
they've been in
stated
a very
that
long time.
on day 14 of this conflict, in the second week of the conflict, you stated that Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and, quote, made combat ineffective. Was that an accurate statement? Yes or no?
And of course, you can't back
Iran's
down.
ability to challenge the United States of America at the level at which we're capable of.
That's not what I asked.
Oh, my God. See, he's just yapping, trying to deflect, trying to minimize, trying to change what he said, because the simple fact is that he lied. And he can't cop up to that because we got Low T Pete here, who is not an actual man. He's just a fucking man-child fucking cuck chicken hawk. So now he can't be honest, right? And keep in mind that after day 14, Iran began to have some of their most significant impacts on American bases and military equipment and soldiers. After day 14, here we are. They have almost 70% of their rockets are still in operation.
Asked you, Mr. Secretary, you said on day 14 Iran's military had been.
I do want to say this also. John Ossoff has become an extremely effective questioner in these hearings. I mean, this is on par with where I think Kamala was interviewing Jeff Sessions and others. But he doesn't let up, right? Like, he's not letting him wiggle out. He's like, no, you said this. Well, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but you said this. Blah, 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 blah. That does not answer my question. So good for him for not letting him escape it. Why American can have nukes, but Iran doesn't? I mean, look, Hamzi, nuclear weapons, realistically, nobody should have them. But there is legitimate concern for Iran, which at the end of the day is still governed by a insane theological government, a theocracy, excuse me. So it's very dangerous to put nuclear warheads in the palms of fanatics and zealots who believe the most insane shit in their religion.
Quote, destroyed and, quote, made combat ineffective. Yes or no, was that an accurate statement?
What the American military has
Will you
done
answer
to
the
the
question?
Iranian military is a historic military
Will you
defeat,
answer the
and
question
they're ineffective
under oath?
in that context.
3 weeks later, you declared victory.
I think that it would have been. I think it would be more effective if he were then to say, "You said it's totally non-operational," and then 2 weeks later this happened. 3 weeks later this happened. So it was clearly not an accurate statement. Would you agree? Like something like that to show that like Iran was still firing rockets. They were downing planes. This, that, and the other. I feel like it's a missed opportunity here, but maybe there's a larger plan in his questioning. I don't know. Iran is that guy in a fight that has nothing to lose. Well, yeah, that's what Iran has realized. You know, they are fighting an existential battle, so they might as well throw everything that they have at it and dig in and entrench themselves. And the Middle East is the graveyard of empires. I think that's actually the saying about Afghanistan, but it's a simple fact that wars fought in the Middle East have traditionally not gone well for the empires that have initiated them.
That was now nearly 4 months ago. 3 weeks after you'd already said Iran's military was destroyed and combat ineffective, you said, quote, Operation Epic Fury was a historic and overwhelming victory. You said Iran's military had been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years to come. And you stated, we had, quote, achieved every single objective. Were those accurate statements?
It certainly was, on behalf of the men and women in uniform, a historic military victory over
Oh
Iran.
my God, it's just
Had
propaganda
Iran's
bullshit.
military been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years to come? That was
They
a
had
statement that you made 4 months ago.
They had 160 naval vessels
You need
in
to
the
answer
Blue
the
Water
questions,
Navy,
Mr.
and they're gone.
Secretary.
Their Air Force
you
is
said 4 months
completely
ago.
combat ineffective,
You
and they
said
don't
4
have a
months
defense
ago.
industrial base.
Excuse
So
me, Mr.
describe to me a country
Secretary.
that doesn't
I don't think this is beneficial because this is just becomes a shouting match. So you need to come back with the facts. And look, Pete is a propagandist, but he is saying like we sunk this, we sank that, we did that, which doesn't fucking matter because Iran continued to fight back anyways. But I think at this point it would be beneficial to bring up the facts. It's like this aircraft was shot out of the sky, this helicopter was shot out of the sky, this American base was bombed, this American base was bombed. Do you believe that is combat ineffective? Like something like that, but whatever.
have an Air Force, a Navy, or a defense industrial base, and I will describe to
Secretary.
you a country that does not have an effective
Mr.
military.
Secretary, you
It
stated-
can lob missiles.
Mr. Secretary, you stated
missiles,
4
but it's
months
not a
ago
combat
that
effective
Iran's
military.
military had been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years to come. Has Iran's military been, for the last 4 months, combat ineffective?
It's been set back not just years, but likely decades.
You
considering
stated we
it
had,
can't
quote,
build at the level it did before, and not
you
even
stated
close. It
we had,
doesn't mean it
quote,
doesn't have capabilities.
Mr. Secretary, you stated we had, quote, achieved every single objective. Was that an accurate statement 4 months ago?
The main objective of this was to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Their main sites were obliterated. We're watching over them, and we're holding them at issue. If they don't give them up at the table, there's other ways we can take them away.
Early in the conflict
Iran will
on
never
day
have a
3,
nuclear
Mr.
weapon.
Secretary, early in the conflict, day 3, you said one of those core objectives was to, quote, destroy the missile threat. And
Why is he starting to sound like Walter Cronkite? Mr. Secretary, on day 3, you then said that this, that, and the other is combat ineffective, and yet I call bullshit. Do you agree?
as you restated on day 5, to, quote, obliterate Iran's missiles and drones. Those were clearly and repeatedly stated core objectives of the campaign, which 4 months ago you declared had been completed victoriously with every single objective achieved. Were those objectives achieved 4 months ago?
No one ever stated that every single missile was gone. Ultimately, combat ineffective means they're not able to dig them out of their UGFs and shoot
Had
at
the
us.
missile
It
threat
doesn't mean they
been
don't have
defeated
underground
4 months
facilities
ago?
where they put missiles in them and hold on to them because they're the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. So we never expected they would stop having capabilities to
God,
shoot.
he's
The
just-
question is at
Yeah,
scale against an opponent like the United States of America.
God, he's just sounding like a fucking parrot. So I mean, like I will say this, that Ossoff is doing a really good job of I mean, look at this back to back, or what do they call this, side by side. Ossoff is totally cool in the zone, keeping his chill, and Pete Hegseth is just yapping like a fucking crackhead on the metro.
Which went toe-to-toe with them, and Iran couldn't. And
You
cannot
stated on
handle it.
March 8th, day 9 of the war, on 60 Minutes, you assured the American people of Iranian surrender. Does that remain your prediction?
Ultimately, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon to threaten the United States of America. That has been the objective, and it remains so.
So just to review, you will not answer whether your statement made on the 14th day of the war that Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and made combat ineffective was a truthful statement to the American people as you sit here and ask for tens of billions more
The
for the conflict.
senator's time has
Had a
expired.
historic and effective military campaign against the largest state sponsor of terrorism.
Won't
and will
answer the
ensure they
question.
never
Senator
get a nuclear weapon,
Peters
Senator.
is recognized.
I mean, Pete Hegseth looks awful. Ossoff looked pretty chill. But still, I mean, like, you could pull up quote after quote after quote, but the simple fact is you also need to look at the operations of what happened. We were losing helicopters. We were losing planes. Bases were getting bombed. Bases that previously had not been capable of being bombed due to Iran's lack of capability to fight that far away, but also due to our own capability to stop anti-aircraft attacks. Excuse me, not anti-aircraft attacks, but I guess they're surface-to-ground missiles, and also the drones. But they were now able to penetrate through our defenses. They were able to knock down our radar defenses, which is how they were able to launch these attacks in the first place. Bring that shit up. It's like, why are we giving you more money for a war that you say is completely a complete victory, and yet you're losing stuff right after that? That's not a complete victory. That's bullshit. I mean, they can, of course, say bullshit on the thing, but whatever. It's not dangerous to put in the hands of Trump, and Iran is the Islamic world is identified as extremist in Afghanistan. I mean, look, Trump should not have a fucking potato gun, let alone a nuclear warhead. And yes, Iran, Afghanistan, Hamzi, come on. Afghanistan right now is going back to throwing acid in the face of women trying to go to school. That is extremist. And I know, believe me, I know there's plenty of shit over here in America. We should also definitely be labeled as an extremist, but let's not lose sight of the simple fact that Iran also becoming a nuclear power is a serious world threat. Religion has nothing to do with anything because they twisted it to suit what they want to do. Right, but they're using religion, and their government is comprised of clerics and religious people and zealots and fanatics that twist and turn the religion. And when you twist and turn religion, when you're governed by a theocracy, regardless of how perverted your interpretation of the original texts are, when you're governed by a theocracy, you are going to do dumb shit. That's just the way it is. Religion was designed explicitly to control people and to punish others while lifting up the ruling class. Religion is truly no different than capitalism. So I think we saw all of this.
Uniform a historic military victory over Iran.
Had Iran's military been rendered, quote, combat.
Yeah, so we already saw this. So coming back to Trump's lies about the election, he was saying China did everything. China made it for Joe Biden. They gave the election to sleepy Joe Biden. Right? So lo and behold, let's see what they did to punish China.
Talked a lot about that.
Was there disagreement on election interference?
We didn't discuss that topic.
So the election interference in 2020 between Biden and China was so serious, so suspicious, that they didn't bother bringing it up in diplomatic settings. You can just tell it's all bullshit. As long as followed correctly, it elevates the country like Saudi Arabia, which is the #1 safest in the G. Hamzi, Saudi Arabia is an extremely problematic country. Is it better than the other surrounding theocracies? Sure. But Hamzi, MBS was the guy that ordered the bone sawing while he was alive of I can't remember his name now, the Washington Post journalist. Hamzi, come on, brother. Let's not pretend you can criticize America all you want, because yes, there's Nazis and pedophiles literally running the country. Those are also extremists. But let's keep sight of the simple fact that Iran, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia are also governed by a bunch of fucking losers. We have a trigger mega pedophile. John-T7S6N. These people just throw out more and more crap with no basis behind it. What about Obama, Clinton, and the Russia hoax? Oh, you mean the Russia hoax that Republicans even agreed happened? Hey, John, by the way, speaking of China and their collaboration with Biden, why did they not bring it up here?
Talked a lot about that.
Was there disagreement on election interference?
We didn't discuss that topic.
We didn't discuss that, John. Wow. It was so serious that they didn't even talk about it. Almost like you're talking out of your fucking ass. I'm not talking politically or something like that. I mean being a citizen in Saudi Arabia. Sure, unless you're of a opposing party, or unless you're a woman, or unless you're a gay person. Hamzi, come on, brother. Come on. So what is MAGA getting for all of this bullshit? Why is this not pausing? This is so fucking... These Twitter...
Explosive diarrhea
oh my God.
and major cramps. And we wouldn't...
All right, I guess we'll just watch the clip. I can't pause it.
Created a, quote, perfect storm for a slowed government response to the parasitic outbreak. That's according to a source. The cases are concentrated in the Midwest, but more than half of states are reporting cyclospora infections, which cause explosive diarrhea and major cramps. And we wouldn't get to TMI there, except you need to know that information because those are the hallmarks of what we're dealing with here. A former federal lab official told CNN that the cuts led to, quote, the loss of specialized staff and the loss of hands on deck needed to identify the source of the outbreaks. Here's one example of the lagging response. The first cases of the parasite, they actually began way back in mid-May. The state of Michigan, which is
I didn't know that.
The epicenter of the outbreak, issued its warning on July 1st, but it took 2 weeks before the CDC issued its advisory. And an investigation finds...
Okay, I don't know why I couldn't pause this shit before. So while Trump is running around and pedophiles like John-T7S6N are losing their fucking mind over the Russia-Obama hoax, which was 10 years ago, which his own party affirmed. And by the way, Trump begged on national TV, Russia, if you're listening, I hope you find the 33,000 emails, which Russia then actually did. So while these pedophiles like John are losing their shit over the dumbest fucking things, Trump is cutting the budget. And I just can tell that John is on the toilet right now shitting his fucking brains out to cyclosporia. That's why he's in my chat rather than enjoying the great economy that Trump is providing us, right? And what do you get for your money? You're getting nothing for your money except fucking diarrhea. You know what you're also getting for your money? You took a hatchet to the federal government claiming they would save $2 trillion in taxpayer money. Thousands lost jobs, even more lost essential services, but the cuts only saved 2% of their original claims. Look at this shit. All you guys got was a cut of your own budget. A cut of stuff that goes to, again, pay for things like watching out for cyclospora, watching to make sure that pedophiles, like the world mentioned in the Epstein files, are under watch, to make sure that you have functioning fucking infrastructure, you know, like roads, which you guys love to drive around on your fucking big ass trucks. You guys got absolutely fucking nothing except an ass raping. Senator Hassan and others calculated the average American household is paying about $3,500 more under Trump because of higher prices for things like gas, beef, coffee, and housing, with figures broken down by congressional district. Again, you guys got fucking nothing. Trump's draconian cuts to healthcare, education, and foreign aid were rationalized on balancing the budget. Thanks to his tax cuts for the rich, the deficit is on track to hit almost 7% of GDP by 2036. Hey, the rich got their tax cuts. Where's your tax cuts, MAGA? How much did you save on taxes this year? Oh, that's right. You had to pay more so that the rich could pay less. Hamzi, what do you mean new COVID? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, we have a trigger MAGA pedophile. Household Gooding 9174. He's not a convicted felon, dumbass, except for the actual jury that found him and convicted him. You mean except that? Except for him having to pay $5 million to E. Jean Carroll because he raped her? You mean other than that, right, Household? God, I get the worst fucking trolls. Like, they're not even, like, you can't even go back and forth with them because they don't even have good talking points. They're just morons, you know? They're just legitimately stupid. And look, this guy's a bot. He's just a fucking loser. And now this brought on the other, more bots. Oh, wait, Mark Martinez says the truth. All MAGA are pedophiles. Mark Martinez, don't go anywhere because I have more on that news heading forward. Speaking of MAGA pedophiles, Eric the pedophile. Eric the C9U3N pedophile is back. You're a fascist communist that don't live in this country. I hope Canada gets no trade deals. He thinks I don't live in America. You see what I mean? I get the most boring, low-T, just bad quality trolls. I just get the worst trolls. To think that I don't live in America, that's funny. That's fucking hilarious. While you guys have fund people like you support people like Ian Miles Chong, who is best friends with a pedophile, and you listen to Andy No. Again, these people don't actually live here in this country, and you guys back them. Meanwhile, you're more upset because you think that I don't live in America, while your pedophile in chief is in the Epstein files. But that's why they're bots and not real people, because they're paid for with Trump's pedo defense budget. If you support the pedo-in-chief, you a pedo, see how that works, Republicans? Again, Mark Martinez, you're going to love what I got coming up here in just a second. Under Trump, household electricity costs are up 18%. Ground beef prices are up 22%. Gas prices are up 40%. ACA out-of-pocket premiums are up 58%. Inflation has a 3-year high. New golden age for who? And all you guys got was this stupid, boring-ass prosecution of Letitia James that was never intended to go anywhere. It was just red meat for you morons to distract from your household prices going up, to distract from you paying more in taxes while the billionaires don't. Trump told one advisor that Blanche needed to grasp that he didn't really care whether Letitia James was ultimately convicted. The goal was to drag her into court. I want to make her life miserable. This is a key aspect of fascism. So these Nazis never care about getting the prosecutions. All they actually want is to punish people. It doesn't matter what actually happens what the outcomes are. All they care about are punishing other people. That is truly weaponization of the Justice Department, but hey, you guys are too stupid to have that discussion. The Trump files, yeah, Mike Martinez, they're coming up. Get a drum roll ready because we have the Trump pedophiles are coming up in a second. Oh, shit, Hamzi, you're right. I got to pull up that song. Hold on. Damn, how did I keep forgetting to do that? Let me see. All right, let's do this. Ad.
Yesterday.
Oh my God, the abs are
Yesterday
the
was
ads.
amazing.
Abs? Do you know
Rachel was
YouTube has
determined
abs
to
now?
live
It's
her
been
life
doing
on
its
some
sit-ups.
terms.
Let's see. Here we go. Speaking of, we have another triggered mega pedophile. First Amendment offender says, and Democrats are still walking into a midterm with a +4 poll ranking. Cope harder, their princess. You know what you have to cope harder about? Oh, you know it's pissed off now. You know it's really pissed off now. All right, where was I? And yet the GOP are still treated as the fiscally responsible party by much of the media and large parts of the public. Will never cease to amaze me. Under Trump, the debt held by the federal government has surpassed, whoa, fuck me. I didn't realize it was already at 100%. By 2030, it'll pass its all-time record from World War II. Yeah, that's not good. That's really not good. You know what's actually worse than having it go above 100% of GDP is stupid ass dumb fucking inbred redneck cousin fucking Republicans believing that Republicans are fiscally responsible. That's actually worse. That's actually worse because the MAGA pedophiles like First Offender in my chat here are the ones that enabled this. The actual destruction of our country is coming from inside the house. It's not Iran. It's not immigrants from Mexico. It's literally the pedophiles in the White House. Can't hang out, stuff to do, left a like. Thank you, eQueer. I appreciate it. Till next time. So, speaking of the Trump pedophiles, Andrew Tate said at Trump admin hooked up his release in bombshell text from New York Times. Deep dive. Dems would be insane to not tie Andrew Tate to Trump and Vance, to not highlight how the most powerful people in America helped and allowed themselves with a serial predator and abuser. This is so important because the Tates were connected like a fucking human centipede to the right wing, like a fucking leech these people were. They were connected to Tucker Carlson, Benny Johnson, Alina Habba, the list goes on, Barron Trump. Oh, speaking of, well, this is out of order, but the United States has now reported the highest number of measles cases in any year since 91, and the year still has more than 5 months to go. This is an almost 100% vaccine-preventable illness. Why is RFK Jr. still health secretary? So, keep in mind, when Republicans aren't raping children, and keep in mind RFK Jr. is also in the Epstein files, and he cut off a raccoon's cock. What a weirdo. When these people are not raping children, they're killing them, right? Look at this. Measles can be very fatal to children. And even when it's not, it's extremely fucking miserable to live with. So, these are not people you would even want as your fucking neighbor. These are not people you would want to share a fucking carpool lane with in 2 separate vehicles. That's how creepy these people are. And yet Republicans are now the party of pedophiles. They're in charge of our kids' health. And they're telling you to not get a fucking vaccine for an easily preventable disease. Republicans are the party of child rape and child murder, and we can never fucking forget that, and we need to make that a talking point moving forward. Where was I on this? This is all out of order. Not that it fucking matters at this point. Andrew Tate is now facing 42 criminal charges. These include 19 child sex abuse charges, child sex abuse material charges, 17 rape and sexual assault charges, 3 human trafficking charges, 3 assault charges. Why would you not make this a campaign issue? Why would you not say, these are not the people you want as your neighbors, so why the fuck would you want them in charge of the government and our nuclear arsenal? Donald Trump Jr. said alleged pedophile Andrew Tate's arrest in Romania was insane before facilitating his arrival in the USA. Again, this should be a huge scandal. This should be a career-ending scandal. This pedophile should never be able to get a single business deal ever again. This should be a fucking revolution to get these pedophiles not only out of power, not only out of the government, but out of this country. Deport these pedophiles, every single one of them. Arrest them, try them, jail them, deport their ass. These people import pedophilia like the cartel imports fentanyl. That's what these people are doing right now. Trump's son Barron and Don Jr. are huge fans of recently arrested Andrew Tate. Tate is facing charges related to human trafficking, pedophilia, rape, and more. Oh, we have a trigger magnet pedophile. Joe Jack 3340 says, guilty until proven innocent. Yeah, is that the same standard you gave to Biden, Tom Hanks, George Clooney, Biden? So, okay, so Jack, so you agree all those people are innocent, right? That's your standard. That's your standard. What about this guy? Police officer Hector Carranza raped a minor repeatedly over the span of 2 years. He is currently the target of a manhunt operation after he cut off his ankle monitor to try and run away from justice. What about this guy? A Republican pig charged with this shit. But he's innocent, right? Totally innocent. What about this guy? Republican NFL Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor had sex with a 16-year-old prostitute. He is now a registered sex offender. Innocent, right? That's your stance? Totally innocent, right? Totally innocent? Okay, so what are you saying then? Because basically, I'm saying the evidence shows that this guy clearly helped a pedophile get back into this country. That should be a crime. That is a crime, actually. Like, this guy did not go through the proper immigration procedures, which you guys love to talk so much about, but it's okay when it's right-wing pedophiles. Who was found guilty? You realize that Andrew Tate actually hasn't been charged or convicted yet, right? He's been charged. What in the fuck are you saying here? You can't even get your position straight. This guy's been charged. He should not be in America. He had left the country, and then this pedophile right here helped him get back in the country. Oh, we have another trigger mega pedophile. Gas Puppy Garage 3782 says, oh my God, the only crime is this dude talking. Yeah, these aren't crimes, Gas Puppy. You're so right. You're so right. Oh, Joe Jack, I'm a dumbass when you're the one who can't even defend what in the fuck you were saying? You're going to be really triggered over this shit. Hey, hang on, Joe Jack. I got something for you. Oh, you scared, Joe Jack?
Trump is on the Epstein list. Yes, he is. Trump is on the Epstein list. Yes, he is.
Gas Puppy Garage 3782, Joe Jack 3340. Thank you for participating. You are pedophiles. You are the next to be charged pedophile. Goodbye. I love how this guy was saying, these aren't crimes. This really, that is MAGA in a nutshell. A right-wing pedophile doing all this shit, not crimes. Not crimes. He did scam people, so he did something. Are you talking about Andrew Tate or Don Jr.? Where was I? Oh, yeah. Republican police officer Curlin Edwards raped a teenager after threatening her life with a gun. He was just sentenced to 15 years in prison. But according to MAGA, not a crime. According to MAGA, this isn't a crime, right? Joe Jack 3340, Gas Puppy 3782. These pedophiles think this isn't a crime. It's not a crime. Hey, you know what also isn't a crime? A Republican police officer admitted to sexually assaulting a 9-year-old girl for years. This is the same officer involved in a wrongful death lawsuit for running over a pedestrian. But according to Joe Jack 3340, Gas Puppy Garage 3782, those aren't crimes. Look away! Look away! Those aren't crimes! These aren't the crimes you're looking for. Fucking creeps. Oh, the Barron thing? Didn't Barron do like some kind of crypto rug pull? I think that was it, wasn't it? Republican teacher Amy Medlin and her husband got a student intoxicated and then made sexual advances on them. They both have pled guilty to charges of child exploitation. But hey, according to MAGA pedophiles, this isn't a crime, guys. No crimes detected here. Tulsi Gabbard's brother was just arrested for trying to lure a child into his hotel room. He attempted to entice the little boy with gum and candy. Literally straight out of To Catch a Predator, but this isn't a crime. Look away, everybody. Look away. These aren't crimes. I'm not even kidding. If you had a Republican neighbor, there is no way of knowing what's on their hard drive. There is no way of knowing who they've locked up in their basement. They could be the fucking grabber from the black phone. And the odds of it are actually higher than if it were a fucking immigrant living next to you. The immigrant would have a job, they'd be going to work, minding their own fucking business, trying to build a career, raise a family. But these pedophiles like Joe Jack 3340 and Gas Puppy Garage 3782 think this is totally okay. Totally okay. Republican youth leader Jordan Williams was caught with a childlike sex doll and large amounts of child sex abuse material. Fuck. They stop calling it, oh my God. Every single time I read, I really respect this account for keeping up with all this stuff, but it's not, we really have to stop using this term because this is not the correct term. Now facing hundreds of years in prison. It's also kind of insane to see the disparity, right? Like with a childlike sex doll, large amounts of child porn, and he's getting hundreds of years in prison. This guy, let's see, where was it? This guy only gets 15 years in prison, but he's a pig. This guy probably got nothing because he's a registered sex offender and an NFL player. This doesn't say how long he was sentenced for. It's just insane to see how different the things are. Also, model recruiter Danielle Syed, who introduced young women to Jeffrey Epstein, found dead at his home in France. This is definitely not sus. What did he know and who was trying to get to him? That is the question. I mean, who cares, honestly, at the end of the day? The guy's dead, cool. But unless he was working with, because France, if I remember correct, was doing an investigation into the Epstein files. So if he was part of that investigation, that is sus. But also at the same time, who cares? And, if you recall, Elon Musk, who appears in the Epstein files, begging to visit Epstein's island, is defending Andrew Tate, who has been accused of rape and possession of indecent images of children. Never believe people like Elon when they say that they care about protecting women and girls. This is the guy who has led a crusade against trans people, saying we need to protect children from trans women, and yet he is the one begging Epstein to take him to his island. If I was really a sexual predator like grooming gangs, Prince Andrew, BBC presenters, or Lord Mandelson, the British police would not be hunting me around the globe. They would be protecting me, which is funny because Prince Andrew is finally under the scope. His strongest argument, to be honest, yes, says Elon Musk. Again, Elon Musk is literally defending a pedophile. And remember how he, out of the blue, said that the Philippines cave diving thing where they had to get a submarine and save the kids locked out. They were trapped in an underwater cave. And Elon Musk called the guy who was trying to save them a pedophile. Meanwhile, he was doing shit like this. This is from Elon Musk. This was on Christmas Day. Christmas Day, mind you. Sending to Epstein, do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of sanity this year, and so once my kids head home after Christmas, I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. Peaceful island experience. Google says its involvement in cryptocurrency ventures, in other words, scamming people and daddy's influence and money. Yeah, well, the crypto thing has always been a scam, and now that Trump is in it, it's just going to be an even bigger scam. Smiling Dog says an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. There's a really funny comedy bit, and I can't remember who does it, but they say, no, that means at the end of it all, there's a guy with one eye. And also, an eye for an eye would only be done to people that had done bad things. So if someone is missing a fucking eye, that means they did a bad thing. The person who did the bad thing doesn't get to go and then take the eye of another innocent person. That's not how this shit works. Smiling Dog, what are you talking about here? We're talking about people who raped children. And you're out here pulling out these fucking proverbs? What are you doing, brother? Oh, trigger mega pedophile. John Guy 2234. Are you as big a moron as you make yourself to look like? Shaking my goddamn fucking head. Keep in mind, I'm here literally quoting Elon Musk's own words, begging Epstein to take him to an island, to the pedo island. And John Guy is in here trying to defend the pedophile. Arrest this man and get his fucking hard drive. Because if you're upset over this, If that upsets you, that means you're a pedophile. Epstein himself was found dead in his cell and the camera suddenly shut off, and also, surprisingly, no one heard anything. That means there is people above him and above Trump we don't know yet. Yes, I believe in the deep state. It's possible, but I mean, you look at the global stage in terms of wealth and power, and Trump is up there in terms of influence. So I don't really, like name someone. Who do you think is bigger up there? Bezos, maybe? Musk, maybe? Musk is the richest person in the world. But, like, do you think Musk had the fucking juice to call the shots to off Epstein? I don't think so. I don't think he did, especially not back then. No, I think it was fully Trump. So anyways, Epstein replied to Musk, understood, I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island might make Talila uncomfortable. And then Elon Musk said, ratio is not a problem for Talila. This is so fucking creepy. Icarus Flight says Trump was president. Do you mean president during that time? Yeah, that's my point. He was in control of the entire Justice Department, which is where Epstein was being held, under Trump's control. And then suddenly, since Trump, since he died, because
Trump is on the Epstein list.
that's kind of sus. Not kind of, that is sus. And then, of course, we have this.
Since 2020, at least 51 immigration officers, agents, and contractors have been convicted or accused of sexual misconduct, 34 of them for crimes against children. They wear the badges of the fastest-growing, best-funded police forces in the country. ICE's budget is now larger than every other federal law enforcement agency combined. These are the masked men pulling women and children into unmarked cars, bound for a network of for-profit detention camps.
And keep in mind that at these concentration camps run by ICE, the children and the women are being separated, and then suddenly they're pregnant. People in a fucking terrorist organization like ICE that has a history of hiring pedophiles and rapists is putting them in charge of women and children concentration camps. Nothing about that. That is a cursed fucking sentence. That is some shit that would make a Harry Potter Horcrux explode.
Where thousands have reported sexual abuse and untold more goes unreported. Agent for agent, no federal force in the country fires more of its own for misconduct. And yet, when a migrant reports abuse, 97% of the time, nothing happens at all. This is the record, name by name. Malik Daly, a Border Patrol agent.
Yeah, I've
convicted
covered
in
all
May
of these, but the point is that this just keeps fucking happening. This is since 2020, 51 ICE and CBP officers. And these are just the ones that have been caught. So you know that since ICE and the federal government and the pigs have this whole back the boo and back the boo. Boo! Back the boo! I also boo back the blue, by the way. Those people who have the whole cone of silence to protect each other, there is way more than this. Way fucking more. Did you hear about the West Virginia Republican that got arrested for trying to get with an 8th grader? I am sure I covered it at some point. Hang on, wasn't that? Wait, where are these two from? Weren't these the? Well, this isn't a West Virginia Republican. These were the two in West Virginia, weren't they? WRAL. Was this in West Virginia? Former Johnson Thursday, highly elaborate grooming. It doesn't say. Oh no, this is North Carolina. Okay, well, there you go. And there is, by the way, there is still the entire protection racket against the Epstein in favor of the Epstein pedo cabal. An Instagram post about Jeffrey Epstein's ties to wealthy communities in Marin County, California, turned one California student newspaper into a free speech flashpoint. The students say they were just doing their homework. Ben Muller's assignments for his journalism class was to tell a news story, any news story, in the form of an extended Instagram slideshow. He chose to call them the Epstein Files for links to his home county, and he found thousands. That's fucking insane. Which Marin towns were mentioned in the Epstein Files? Scroll to see how many times your town was mentioned. Most of them were trivial, but a few things stood out. 2014 art gala in Sausalito that Epstein helped promote, a meeting with Woody Allen in Tiburon, and above all, a 2013 email exchange between Epstein and a woman from a modeling agency called Mill Valley Connection. So that's sus! Like, this is just the John Casablancas link right here. This is, I guarantee you, shit went down if they were to actually investigate this company, Mill Valley. 2 days later, on February 12th, Mueller posted his story to the Instagram feed of the Redwood Bark, his school's student-run publication. More than 4,000 people liked the story. The comments filled up with praise. This is the kind of journalism we need. Exactly. About a week and a half later, his journalism teacher called with bad news. Bonovrier, the modeling agent, was threatening to sue the district. Yeah, fuck that. Take it. Do you know how bad the discovery is going to be for that person? And now the superintendent was demanding that the Bark either redact Bonovier's name or delete the slide entirely. So the next day, during the lunch break at school, the students lawyered up. Good for them. Let me see what was the conclusion. No, it's paywalled. Oh, Wired. They did such a good job of that. Was good bait. Good for them. But I mean, like, this is extremely fucking problematic. The entire apparatus that allowed Epstein to happen in the first fucking place is still here. It's still happening, and it needs to be completely dismantled. We need to investigate this person. What's her name? Beauvillier? Bonneville? What? Bonovrier with the modeling agent? Absolutely fucking sus. Like the Bohemian Grove, and I can't name anyone because they're the ones in the shadow. Trump, Bezos, Elon, etc. are puppets, and the unknown people are the puppeteers. Hamzi, I get what you're saying, but I really don't think that's the case for two reasons. One, you look at the list of rich people, because in order to get power in this world, you have to have influence, power, and you have to have money. Money is typically the big common denominator here, and you look at all of the list of billionaires, and you look at all the list of even millionaires, if you wanted to kind of dumb it down and maybe think of them as potential suspects, there's really not many people outside of Trump's sphere that have ties to Epstein, right? That at least has been uncovered yet. I'm not discounting the possibility that maybe there's some shadowy billionaire out there. Maybe. But I don't have seen zero evidence of it. And what's more likely? That some shadowy billionaire is that so far has not been named or seen or even heard of in the Epstein files was the one pulling the strings and telling Trump, hey, come here. You need to make sure you keep Epstein in his prison cell, okay? I'm not in the files, but go do it. Do you think that's more likely, or Trump, who was Epstein's best friend and has been accused multiple times of raping women and children, and there are actual videos of Trump doing exactly that because Epstein had videos video cameras everywhere, and then he offed Epstein? What is more likely? I mean, come on. Come on, Hamzi. The probability of your idea of a deep state being behind Epstein's death and the probability of Trump being the perpetrator is, I mean, it's not comparable. It's outside the realms of possibility. I just heard about it, not sure when. Igris, if you can find the story, I can take a look at it. Copenseed, ready to invade Canada? Always. Always, I must get there. I must take the maple syrup. They've had it too good for too long, and we're not going to let them have it with their nice little winters and their moose. I want to give a hug to a moose. I just want to hug them. And Canadians get to do that every day. They get to get up in the morning. They can see the moose outside. They can say, how are you, Rocky and Bullwinkle? They can do that. I can't do it. We don't have enough moose out here. I'm ready to invade Canada. I have my M60. I also have my wheelchair. I can do it. I think that's why when powerful people decide to do something they don't like, they just end them in a suspicious way. Well, Hamzi, that's been going on for so fucking long, dude. So fucking long. So, speaking of allegations, this is a perfect encapsulation of the MAGA pedo party mindset. So just here we go.
Go. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Eric Garcia, Independent. These past 2 weeks, Democrats ditched Graham Platter from their ballot after sexual assault allegations. 2 members of the conference, Max Miller and Ford Mills, faced domestic violence allegations. Why would you Republicans keep them in the conference, whereas Democrats are dropping somebody accused of criminally accused of sexual harassment?
Well, the key word there is allegation. We have a process here. The House Ethics Committee works on those things. If allegations are made, they work through a process. So I'm not in the business of commenting on investigations as they're in process, and we'll see how that shakes out. That's how this always works. And by the way, it's done for R's and D's on both sides of the aisle.
And we had an investigation into Trump, and he was a rapist. He had to pay $5 million to E. Jean Carroll. That's not an allegation. That's an actual fucking trial. And also, this just shows exactly the difference between the parties. The Democrats rightly got rid of Graham Plattner, right? Because he did terrible shit and seems to be, just generally speaking, a terrible person, regardless of how much you might like his politics. And they were the Republicans were the ones calling for him to drop out of the race, even before all the Democrats were united, because it serves them politically, right? But the Democrats followed through. They did do it, to their credit. And now that Max Miller and Corey Mills are basically wife-beating rapists, now it's just allegations. No, we can't have that. We can't have them resign, because the Republicans get the ability of pure power politics. PPP. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about morality. They don't care about ethics. They don't even care about their own issues. The actual things that they claim to care about. Look at the Epstein files, right? Now that the Epstein files have come out, you have all these MAGA pedophiles in my chat defending Trump, defending the pedophiles, right? And trying to deflect onto the Democrats who aren't even in the fucking files, right? That's their goal, because they are never going to be held accountable within their own party. And unless the Democrats wise the fuck up and start making this an election issue, again, all you have to do is say shit like, these people are pedophiles supporting other pedophiles. Why would you want them as your neighbor? These people that Mike Johnson supports are rapists and wife beaters. You wouldn't want to stand next to them in the fucking grocery checkout aisle, so why would you give them all the power of Congress? But the Democrats are going to Democrat and probably not do it. So I'll tell you another thing about the Democrats. The Democrats never miss an opportunity to be on the right side of history long after it's been decided. Top officials from the Biden administration now express regret over their failure to rein in Netanyahu. Never forget that when a few members of Congress had the dignity and moral standing to call for an immediate ceasefire, knowing full well what Israel would do in Gaza, on October 10th, the Biden White House said of those calls, "We believe they are wrong, we believe they're repugnant, and we believe they're disgraceful." Imagine how many lives could have been spared, how much war prevented, how many New Yorker whitewash pieces not written. Every single foreign policy person in the Biden administration should never work again. They shouldn't even be a fucking Taco Bell order taker. These people have completely disgraced the country, disgraced the party, and disgraced the profession. No safe space for these people. I'm not kidding. This is just unbelievably disgraceful. And now for them to go through with this face-saving operation, which, as this person rightly notes, the New Yorker and other outlets are whitewashing them to be like, oh, see how human they are? Look how human they are. Now they're saying that they wish they made different decisions. Yeah, and everybody else is dead. That's no fucking excuse. Slink off to the shadows and never fucking come back. This is the kind of shit that these violent people supported.
You want to report me to the police because I'm a journalist? Do you understand in this country we have a free press? So something quite crazy just happened. A guy from Israeli Aerospace Industries followed us down the road, demanding to see our passes to show we're journalists, and so he's going to report us to the police. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm at the Farnborough Air Show in the English countryside, where people are enjoying the sunshine and watching pilots perform tricks. But behind me, inside those hangars, arms firms are doing deals, and this year, controversially, they've invited to the table 3 of Israel's largest arms companies, despite the genocide in Gaza. This is the first time since that conflict began that Declassified has been granted press access to an arms fair like this. And we want to go and talk to those companies and see why they've been allowed in. I'm Phil Miller, I'm a journalist. Is it possible to speak to your CEO today, Martin Fawcett?
He's not here.
He's not here today.
I'm afraid we haven't got any availability.
Okay.
What a surprise!
We spoke to some fathers of British military veterans, and their sons were killed in Gaza by an Elbit drone. And it looks like you've been displaying that on the screen today.
there's nothing we can do that is going to make you satisfied. So you're not going to get an
But is it not a bit insensitive to be displaying drones that have been used to kill British military veterans? Are you disputing that an Elbit drone killed British military veterans in Gaza? The Hermes 350 drone.
It's fine to move on.
You're denying that it killed British military veterans in Gaza. You're not going to apologise to their families?
I have no comment to say.
Nothing to say at all?
Nothing to say, sir. Sorry, no.
And how many children in Gaza have Elbit's drones killed?
I need to ask you a question, sir. Please move on.
I've just spotted another Israeli state-owned arms company here at Farnborough Air Show. It's called IAI, Israeli Aerospace Industries. They're a major player in the Israeli arms industry. I'm going to go and see if they'll let me look around their chalet. Yeah, hi, I'm a journalist. Is it possible to have a look around?
No.
No? No press allowed, or...?
IAI's security then
Oh my
began
God,
taking
baby
photos
bitch
of our camera crew,
losers.
even though they were clearly identified as media.
You just said you wanted my name so you can report to the police. You just said that. So now you're lying.
Oh my God, these people are so fucking evil.
Do you understand in this country we have a free press? Journalists are allowed to ask companies questions.
These people are just fucking evil. Like, Israel, this is exactly the kind of shit that's like Trump started, right? This dismissal of journalism, threatening them with prosecutions, threatening with the police, and then they actually just go forward and do it and start jailing them. Israel is a fascist pedophile regime. We should not be sending them our money. If they can't answer questions about how their technology is used, then we don't need to fund them. This is such an insane probability, an insane scenario for us to be funding a foreign government over American healthcare, American schools, and American infrastructure. Okay, so this is apparently Zoran's largest or most viewed video. So I know it's in regards to Benjamin Netanyahu, who is a war criminal, but I kind of want to see where the smoke is.
Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, the architect of a horrific genocide against the Palestinian people. He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people, for the maiming of tens of thousands of children as those who survive undergo amputation without anesthesia, for the targeting of neonatal hospitals and maternity care centers, denying newborns even the chance to live, for the countless people he starved as he blocked food and humanitarian aid from reaching them, for the gunning down of hundreds of aid workers and journalists. And just last month, the UN confirmed that Palestinian children continue to be deliberately targeted and killed by Israeli armed forces, more than 8 months after the so-called ceasefire. The list goes on and on, all as we, as Americans, pay for the bombs that do the killing. There is a reason the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest. As human beings, we have spent generations building a shared understanding that there are crimes so grave they offend all of humanity. Anyone, with their eyes, with their heart, with their conscience, should recognize the devastation he has wrought and understand that he belongs before a court of law. As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC. My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here. It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City, nor is any other war criminal at large. While we cannot end the genocide on our own, we can decide whether our silence will become another weapon, and we can examine every tool we have to defend the humanity and dignity of all people. That is my commitment to you.
So, I mean, call me a fucking radical, but I would just simply say fuck it and tell the NYPD to arrest him. Fuck this shit. Like, I don't give a shit. Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal who's in the Epstein files, by the way. He is the top moron of the Israeli pedophile regime. And yeah, I think he should absolutely be arrested, but you know, this whole video was basically just Mamdani throwing up his hands. I mean, he was the one that made the promise to arrest Netanyahu if he came to New York. So I get that he has to give an actual statement. And in terms of statements, this is probably about as good as you can get, right? He's listing all the war crimes, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to be fair. If it was a war crime by anyone, I would do it. But at the end of the day, I don't have the authority. So, I mean, it's basically just kind of a surrender. But it is also amazing to see how well he can strike the tone and hit the right moment. Because, I mean, it's really easy for, to do those little subway interview videos and those viral things of him like walking across screen or whatever the fuck he did during the campaign, and then to now turn to this, like, this is actually him turning the corner on being on being a leader. It's really impressive to see, and looks like it's racking up that exact same impression across social media. So journalists in Gaza were purposefully targeted. Yes, they were. Yeah, I mean, that's been clear from the get-go. Oh, we have a trigger mega pedophile. Randall Cheek 4204 says, "No shit, you moron." What is? So you agree with me, but you're calling me a moron? God, you mega pedophiles are so weird. Oh, we have another trigger mega pedophile. SDEB9518 says he can't explain why the sexual assault or rape has sharply risen, but it's okay in Islam. You mean like the rape that Andrew Tate did to children and you pedophiles support? Remember how Donald Trump and his son, Donald Trump Jr., worked so hard to free a pedophile from an overseas jail? You guys sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up. You're all pedophiles, and after this is all said and done, you are absolutely over. We're going to find you. We're going to jail you. You are all going to be Nuremberg for crimes against this country. International law is optional to Netanyahu and Israel in general, and for some reason it's fine. Yeah, Netanyahu has always been, well, Israel has always been, the exception to the war crimes rules. They get to basically do anything. They're the spoiled toddler of a king. Right? They can do whatever they want. They can get away with whatever they want, and no one is going to hold them accountable. So that's the way it's been for a very, very fucking long time. It's okay in Islam. If you rape, you get the death penalty. Hello. Don't worry about it, Hamzi. This Esteb is just a mega pedophile. He's just another one of these faceless losers on his alt account, because he, again, look at this guy. Check his channel. Look at this fucker. Go to channel. More about this chat. He has 0 videos, 0 subs, and joined February 15th of 2022. It's a barely 4-year-old account, which is ironically the same age that Trump likes him at. So they're just fucking bots. They're just losers. They're not actually here to do anything and accomplish anything. They're just on the payroll of Israel, of Russia, or they're a bot farm for defending the MAGA pedophiles. That's all they are. Speaking of logging into their alt, so Hamzi, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Oops, another right-winger forgot to switch to their alt. So Rick Casey, writer and host of Restoring Order, moderate, paleo-conservative. He's also a pedophile that supports the Federalists and the Blaze. This is what he looks like. This is what he posted to AOC. Republicans are trying to pull a trick this week. They say we are voting on an insider trading bill, but have snuck in massive SAVE Act-style voter suppression measures to it. This is a GOP effort to sabotage national mail-in voting. Moderate Democrat of color here. I don't support Trump, but I think the SAVE Act would be good for our democracy. This is too fucking funny. And it has 5.8 thousand likes and only 1 point. This is not a ratio. This is fucking insane. Fuck this guy. Can't believe he didn't get ratioed on this. But again, see, so Hamzi, this is the bot, this is the power of the bot factories, right? They just churn out likes and likes and likes, and then actual people replying, like Tara Dublin, all these other folks, myself replying, it just gets washed out. This is fucking hilarious. So Ken Paxton, keep in mind, is the pedophile that released a pedophile early from jail and then gave him a sweetheart deal so that he doesn't even have to stay in the state of Texas, and so that he can also not be got on the sex offender registry list. And now we're finding out that Ken Paxton is also a liar, a cheater, not only on his wife's, but also in elections.
General, I wanted to give you a chance to respond to State Representative.
Did he call him General? What?
General, I wanted to give you.
Did he call him General? Oh, for Attorney General. Okay, got it.
A chance to respond.
I was like, what?
To State Representative Tallarico and his campaign. They've made a lot about the reports that have come out. One in the New York Times about you acquiring properties worth $9 million.
Jack, can we keep this to law enforcement today?
Well, I'm giving you the opportunity to answer that
but
question.
I'd like to, if we're here with the sheriffs, I'd like to keep today to law enforcement. So that's.
Well, but then, like, ask again. So, hey, speaking of law enforcement, if you did vote illegally, that's a crime. What do you guys think about that behind you?
That's what I'm going to answer. Questions about law enforcement.
Okay.
Gromer, did you want to go?
Will you answer a question about why you voted in Collin County? Clear that up.
We're just going to do questions on law enforcement today because we're joined with 22 amazing law enforcement officers.
That is law enforcement.
We're going to get it out here. Thank you, guys.
I have a question.
Oh, he's so fucking guilty. Bro, he's so fucking guilty. That's insane. So this is the kind of energy we need to the main Senate candidate. Like Troy Jackson, this could not be better. This is exactly the energy that we need. Troy Jackson saying he won't support Schumer for leader. Excellent, 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 excellent. Schumer, Jeffries have been a complete disaster, as so has, oh, fuck, what's the leader of the DNC? Is it Ken Thompson? What's his name? All of the leadership in the Democratic Party has failed. And I don't know what in the fuck Obama and Hillary and Biden are doing behind the scenes, but they ain't doing shit to steer them on the right course. So this is 100% the correct action. We'll wait to see what unfolds with Troy Jackson, but this is a very, very good start. And the ICE Nazis, these are concentration camps. At its peak, Hold Room 1 contained roughly 86 people, all jostling for space in a closet of humanity that smelled of sweat, urine, and feces, ICE data, and detainee testimonies show. Again, it is no longer abolish ICE. It is no longer just prosecute ICE. It is punish ICE. Every single member of ICE needs to answer to the new Nuremberg trials. Hamza, you said your confession to your crush? That's awesome, dude. Congrats. Okay, that is it for me. I have shit to do.